You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. Old Cappy. And we have a request from a lady. It does happen. We do have female requests. As long as they pay money, I will give them my honest answer, which I don't mind doing. I wouldn't mind having more female clients because I think men have we've already figured it out. I don't think there's a lot of new work or new fundamental principles that can be developed for men. But women, holy cow. You girls are so propagandized and lied to. There's a lot of work we could do, but I've banged my head up against the wall enough. But this young lady was kind enough to pay. She really does want to know the truth. So let's begin with her question. What's up, Cappy? I'm one of your few female followers. For the record, I am not a lesbian or a feminist. I would like your take on something. I'm 43 years old. I was almost married once and do not have kids. I love kids, but I know I'm too old and I've come to terms with it. Anyway, I own a house. I have a lot of friends. I am a nurse practitioner. I'm not fat, etc. She's not. I've seen we've had correspondence. She's a very attractive woman. I'm surprised she's 43. But she's a good-looking gal. She's not lying. I admit sometimes I envy my married friends with their kids, blah, blah, blah. So here's the deal. I'm pretty much open to dating. I do have around 10 single male friends my age, and I've kept up with them over the years. I've noticed over the past couple of years, most of them become fat and lazy. I don't know how else to put it, but for example, I have a broken arm right now, and I live alone. So I texted Bill, and you know Bill too? Man, Bill's a great guy. What about Frank? Frank in your group of friends? So I texted Bill and asked to come help me change a filter that I could not reach. In exchange, I buy him some booze and cook him dinner. That sounds like a deal. Bill shows up at 9 p.m., ate everything, and used the excuse that he left his 10-foot ladder. I shouldn't laugh, but like that's happened to every guy before the reverse. Well, that gal come over. Oh, I gotta go to bed. Oh, I gotta. It's okay. Second example, Matt texted me and asked me how my arm was doing, if I needed anything. I said, yeah, actually a light bulb is out and I cannot reach it even on my ladder. Matt replied, laughing out loud, I don't do light bulbs. I was like, fuck it. I have other stories very similar to this, but you get it. Bill and Matt have both packed on over 50 pounds, fat as fuck, and no steady job. All these guys used to be hot less than 5 years ago. All right, here. This wasn't in my original thought. I put together a couple thoughts. But did you have sex with any of them? I mean, for two bluntly honest reasons. One, they're likely beta orbiters. Did you give them a taste? Did you just like, oh no, like, cause they were hot then. Now you don't want to have sex with them. At one point, did you? It just makes it's moot to the overall points I'll be making later. I'm just curious. I don't know. It just got me thinking, are single men in my generation turning into slobs now? Well, you're 44 or 43. It only goes one way when you're older. I think I'd rather stay single forever than marry this type. Is this a healthy mindset or do I just have a bad attitude? You think it's partly due to all this feminism floating around? Your thoughts would be helpful. Thank you for all you do, Jay. And I said, okay, well, give me a little bit more on these guys. Any of them go through a breakup or divorce? Anything else traumatic in their lives, like losing their jobs or something? Nothing traumatic that I know of. One of them is divorced with a kid. All right, well, I don't know what divorce isn't traumatic on some level. One of them has never been married. Not sure what he does other than stay with friends and make excuses for job losses. Another one who I didn't mention in my email lives with his mother because she needs him after her divorce. But basically, there's a few more dudes with similar issues, but they pretty much fit this general scenario. Booty boo, bada ba, bada ba. Is that all we had? Okay, so I took that. All right. There's several reasons, none of which stands out more than the other, except for the last one I'm going to get to. All right. So this is in no particular order. First, not all men, but some men, those who have gone through divorce or broken up, that is a traumatic event. And I've heard many men of my generation, now you and I are the same generation, where they got married, they got divorced, said never again. And whereas previous to our generation and, 30 years ago, even 25 years ago, you would have chalked that up to bad luck or young love, young naive love. Our generation, being Gen X, we've seen divorce with our parents. And so the view or opinion of marriage is not that it's vital and necessary and there's something wrong with you, not the institution. It is now pretty much a given. We're like, nope, there's something wrong with the institution of marriage because we've seen what it does. And so now if a man goes and gets married and then gets divorced, and he's like, nope, never again, because it was that bad. And it's not that I screwed up, but the girl screwed. It's like, nope, there's something wrong with marriage. Marriage is not going to happen. So you remove marriage, and most guys, okay, well, if they don't want to get married, maybe they're celibate. But you remove marriage, you remove at least part of a demand for men to chase after girls and therefore keep themselves in shape. So that's a little bit whittling away. There's also the traumatic or the trauma men suffer when they get divorced. He just got a bad breakup, and I've talked to Dr. David Maloney. You can find him at histherapist.com, although he deals with guys, not girls. We're talking about how there's he had an official term for it, but a latent background, constant background form of PTSD. And PTSD is kind of a too strong a word. Post-traumatic stress is like there's a specific traumatic event that, your buddy blew up in war. But if you're living in an environment with an insufferable woman or a bad family life or bad home life, over 15 years, that background will take a toll on you. And a lot of guys they've dated enough girls. They didn't even have to get married or divorced, but they've dated enough. They've had their handful of girlfriends, and it's been bad. The experience was negative. And it not just puts them off and further disincentivizes them to chase girls and therefore stay in shape, but some of them, they're scared and they don't want to go through that. They've had, and not to sound whiny or complaining, trauma can totally override your genetic programming. Like, for example, I've had enough bad stuff happen in my life. There's no way I wanted kids. No way. And that's arguably one of the most powerful human forces is to procreate and have kids. I don't mind having sex. I just don't want no damn kids. That was a very early established thing. And you can have other things purged from your genetic programming if the trauma or the experience was that bad. And enough guys have dated enough girls. And it's been bad enough that some of your sisters have ruined the reputation for all women, innocent as those the good women might be. So that's another thing. Although, no way, they'll never trust again. They're not going to do that. As guys get older, the testosterone decreases. And not just because of age, but because more recently we've been raised. So going into the future, I know our generation, I think Gen X may have been sort of the last generation of real men and women, sort of. I use that very, very loosely. But coming up, for any younger women watching, forget decreasing testosterone. Gen Xers and millennials didn't have much to begin with. And for all the drawbacks that testosterone has, I'm sure you've probably been approached by men you didn't want, and they said lewd things. And without that, the men aren't going to hit the gym. They don't have the sex drive. They don't have the physical strength to stay in shape. But testosterone helps keep, you burn off calories of energy. So both because of age and I'd say social conditioning, testosterone is decreasing. Men of your age, they're getting to a point where they got less time to waste. I've written about this in this book. And ladies, you're not going to like this book, but the numbers in here are very telling. And one of the main points that I write in this book is, it's one thing if you're 18, you got all the time in the world. But if you're 50 and you're recently divorced, you're like, wait a minute, this has not been fun. And you go back and you analyze what's the ROI in the pursuit of women. I'll tell you, it's very low. And here's the numbers for it, the book of numbers. So what men do is they do a cost-benefit analysis at a certain point. Say, you know what, since 16, since you were 13, you were chasing girls. All of a sudden you're 43 and your wife of whatever, 15 years later or whatever. You just a final breakup. You've had enough for getting flayed, whatever. Some straw or log breaks the camel's back. And the guys are like, I'm a better bachelor is a perfect example of that, where I think at 45, he tapped out. It's like, nope, I got 30 years left. I'm going to spend time with my family and loved ones. I'm going to travel the world. And so what ends up happening there is men reprioritize their priorities in life. They spend time doing what they want to do. And for most people, male or female, working out sucks. It is horrible. I hate working out. I got to go work out later today. I don't want to work out. It's the least favorite part of my life, unless it's hiking or running, but that's not lifting weights. So without women at the number one spot in most men's life, and they replace it with, I'm going to try cigars, or I'm going to go fishing, or I'm just going to sit and play video games, or I'm just whatever they're going to do. Without women, there's no incentive to stay in physical shape. So that's another reason. They're going to reprioritize their time, and now they stop going to the gym, and they say, I'm going to enjoy life. I've been suffering just because these girls have been misleading me and all the reasons. Forget it. I'm eating pizza. I'm drinking good scotch. I'm smoking a cigar, and I'm not running 10 miles a day. So that's another reprioritization. This more applies to younger generations, but there's propaganda about how, now I was told this when I was younger, but it's only been turned up to 15 since that time. But women want sensitive men, which for a lazy guy is perfect, because then you don't have to hit the gym. Like, oh, just be nice. I mean, how many of you guys got that one? Be nice. and really, I'll give you a pretty, no one ever sat me down and told me the truth. This is why Asshole Consulting makes so much money. No one sat me down and says, girls don't want a sensitive pushover. They want a guy who's aloof, who's big and strong and has muscles. And you're going to waste more time being a nice guy, writing poems or whatever dumbass crap you'd come up with to ask a girl cleverly. Look how clever I am. I'll do an origami thing. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of dumbass stuff I did when I was younger. There'd be a shtick. There'd be a gimmick. And I thought that would be, nope. All I had to do was get muscles and grow another 4 inches and be taller. But no, guys are not told. They weren't told that in my day, and they are definitely not told that now. Now they are told that your politics matter and support women, and the entire political movement of socialism / feminism. That has propagandized. I mean, my God, look at Ilhan Omar and the other worthless child that never worked a real job. Ocasio-Cortez, look at their boyfriends. Not to pick on them, but it's like, okay, there you go. I mean, they're not fat, but ain't none of them throwing a mean left hook. So you have men, and it's at some level, men kind of like think it's BS. Like, well, what do women want? But when you keep telling them, oh no, be sensitive, be kind, be supporting, someday you'll find a girl who isn't me. You make a great girlfriend someday who isn't me. Can I cry on your shoulder as Thaddeus or Tyrone, or who would be the Latino Chad? We got Chad, Tyrone, obviously he'd be the black Chad. Who would be the Latin Chad? Raphael? No, Raphael's too artesian. Not Roberto. Help me out, guys. Help me out. Alejandro. That's pretty. Alejandro gets in there, and then after Alejandro stands her up, she comes crying to you, Phipps, or Charlie, or whatever your name is. So that's the propaganda. And then finally, and this is the biggest reason. Okay, I'm giving you a bunch of sociological, political. Socio-sexual or sociological trends and reasons why. But here's the main reason, all right? Men are fat, lazy asses too. And that, I'd say, is at least half of it, because we could talk about the sex war and all this other stuff, but both men and women are getting fatter. I forget who's ahead now. I think it depends on age. I think women finally caught up to men being morbidly obese and just overweight in general. what is it? 75% of the human American population is overweight. I think women and men are the same now. And if they weren't, then we're just a fraction of a percent ahead. But even the younger people, of which I talk about young women between the ages of 18 and 35, the marriage age, 60% of them are overweight. And men weren't any better, by the way, if you were wondering. Men weren't any better. And a lot of that is because food is cheap. We've lied to everyone, talked about how we care. People's personality matters. Like, no, you want to have to bang and be physically attracted. And then just also keep in mind the lack of rigor we've given generations, where it's like, oh, no, you're just fine the way you are. And this is more obvious and lampooned with the fat acceptance movement with women. But there's the thing, well, if women are getting fat, I'll get fat too. What do I care? But men, ultimately what it boils down to, men are no more, well, when it comes to weight, men are no harder working than women. They're no more brave or courageous. They're a bunch of lazy fat asses who want to eat their wings, hork down their beer, and watch sports ball. They want to play their video games, and they don't want to go for a walk. They don't want to. And now, with this, we're coming up on 3 full generations of, don't get any exercise, don't be hot, because that's submitting to the other people. That's like letting them define you, whatever weird, crazy stuff ugly leftists always say. You now have like these behaviors where it's like, oh yeah, I'll just eat, I'll get my Mountain Dew and eat my Cheetos and play video games. And then you throw in that temptation to always, I mean, look, everyone has it. Like, dude, I was in Vegas and they got this place called Pink Box Donuts. Boy, you got to have some Herculean resolve not to have one of those. They're real good looking, and they taste amazing. A lot of pastry shops over in Vegas too. But you got to say, nope, I'm not going to do that. Well, if Team Woman, what you were supposed to go to war for is overweight and fat too, not to mention Lippy telling you how you're oppressing them all the time and they don't need you, might get your old testosterone dauber down there a little bit. Okay, it's just going to be that much. They're not going to have sex with me anyways. At least I'm fat and happy. And so that's the main reason why men are lazy too. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to work out. So there you go. So I wish I had look. You're doing the best thing you can because I've seen you. You're very attractive. You're in shape. I would say, you want to hang on. Let's go to my take at the all these guys. I think I'd rather stay single forever than marry this type. Well, yeah, if you're not physically attracted, you can't get married. Can't date. There's no such thing as you marry your friend that you like a lot, but you're not physically attracted to. Love requires physical attraction. Otherwise, it's called friendship. There's nothing wrong with that. Is this a healthy mindset, or do you think I just have a bad attitude? No, you have to be physically attracted to the person. The other thing is you're being healthy about it because you're not being a hypocrite. You're staying in physical shape. You think it's partly due to all this feminism floating around? Partly, not majorly, but partly. Thoughts are helpful. So yeah, going forward for you or any other gals, the number one thing is you got to stay in physical shape. And I hate to say this, ladies, because you have beaten it for so long, this drum, that men are equal to women. And you've kind of intimidated guys from asking them out with the Blasey Ford thing and, a lot of false grape accusations that turned out to be false. You're scaring men away. And it's good. And you operate from the premise of equality. And you've kind of whittled down their testosterone, so they biophysiologically have less compunction or drive to ask you out. You may have to ask these guys out. You may have to do that. And I know that goes against every bit of programming and biology. I remember seeing more than one girl break down into tears and crying when she was, well, I really want him to go out with me. I'm like, well, ask him out. And just like shaking because she was so nervous and ultimately crying and failing. It's like, oh, geez, you bitch. Forget. But I'm sorry, there's no other way, ladies. You're going to have to ask these guys out. And the best way to find guys, it depends what you want. Let's just go over it. I know, guys. I know. The general rule is to be feminine. don't know if you knew this. The masculine is attracted to the feminine. That's why there's an extension and a hole. I don't know if nature could make it any clearer, but men want women. So you have to be women. So be physically attractive. You're in shape. You are. Wear a dress. Not fancy ballroom gown, but if you go out, to the grocery store, like, look, there's guys all over the place. What is it? Flowers attract bees by looking pretty. Wear a nice dress. Wear some cute shoes. Grow your hair out long. Put on a nice perfume. Smile at a guy, and that may not be enough. You may have to ask him out. Like if you see a guy, go immediately ask him out. When you're on your online, I find this hilarious. Like online dating girls get hundreds of responses. What? There's not a 9 or a 10 in there somewhere? Respond to his, hey, how's it going? Say good, and then set up a date. Now here, this is advanced how to get the guy son. Okay, this is advanced class on how to get guys. If you want to get a guy, not only do you respond to his texts on the Facebooks or the internet, the dating profiles or social media, wherever, and not only do you try to set up like maybe we should get together sometime and set up a date. Here, this is advanced. I'm glad to get into doctoral level of how to get the guys. You actually show up on the date and you don't cancel or flake at the last minute. Like you got to see it through. Yeah, and unfortunately, ladies, you're going to have to carry your weight in this dating world. You're going to have to start asking guys out because you wanted equality. Well, you kind of got it now. Either out of fear or men, they're equal, or men just, lower, whatever. You're going to have to kind of go to back and pick up the slack where men are letting down. And if you find a guy who's physically, really just, I don't know why, maybe it just comes natural to guys. It's like back in the day, there'd be a cute girl. The girls are like, hey, you're cute. You want to go get coffee sometime? I have a boyfriend. All right. The guy, I think a guy would be just like, what? Like looking if someone's going to like sucker punch him from behind, like it's a trap. Like what's going on? Hold on. This isn't good. Where's the hitman? What's going on? Make yourself, if you don't want to ask out a guy, you're going to have to smile and let's just leave it at that. If you stay thin and hot and dress like a female, look pretty, look feminine, flirt a little bit. And, but the day is, if it's not already here, the day is coming. You may have to ask a guy out. And that's about it. When you do that, let me know, because that's going to be more than most girls do in the United States, let alone the rest of the world. But you wanted this here. You're not you particularly, but this is the real world now. And well, here you go. And that was another thing I was going to mention. Choose your battleground. Okay. A couple places you girls might want to consider. I've mentioned these before. 1, going to ballroom dancing. 2, go to the gun range. 3, go to the gym. 4, go to the cigar lounge. 5, go to car clubs. Go to where masculine men are, and sadly, you may have to increase your age that you're willing to date. Because, I mean, I'm looking at these young men. I'm like, what in God's name? What? I was like, good Lord. And I did the numbers for this book, too. You want to see just how overweight the young millennials are. Of course, they're getting older now. You can look at that data. You're just going to have to go where traditionally, classically strong masculine men are. Military, I don't know. There are Air Force base nearby. Maybe go to the bar where there's the Air Force people. Now watch all the Marines and Army people. Air Force, those are masculine men. Oh, dang. Rodeos. Car racing. Mechanic workshops. You're going to have to go there. You're going to have to go. And if you see a guy that's good looking, just have the balls to ask him out. I mean, you can ask him out kind of tongue in cheek, like, when are you taking me out on a date? And the guy be like, what? You don't even have to pay for it. Usually guy will go along with it. All right. Hope I don't. Oh no, that's right. She cursed in the thing, so I can't not curse. All right. Did we get them all? By the way, if I skip your super chats, let me know. I can always go to the archive and get them when we pick up the super chats later. DJ Aftershock for 12:36 p.m. for $5. Dude, bro, the gym is too much time. Let's go to the bar and get some sweet apps and American Eats, bro. We watching sports ball with another man's jersey. Yes, you should. Just so you know, girls. The guy, this is not, they can keep it together, but usually the guy who has a 4,000 calorie diet because he's a near professional athlete in high school, if he doesn't make it pro, he's not going to get rid of the 4,000 calories, and he's going to be a fat banker who's like Al Bundy, talking about how he threw for 4 touchdowns back at Polk County High back in 1974. DJ Aftershock again for $2. Another valuable mention, Sarah Jacobs of California. Oh, the rich trust fund kid. Oh yeah, does she have a soy boy boyfriend? Nonstop Dre, $2. Who's Cappy's favorite athlete? Michael Vick. Touche, Dre. Touche. That's good. No, my favorite athlete is not Michael Vick. I'd have to say it's probably Tom Brady because he's the GOAT. He is. I don't personally like him, but he's just like, when he played against Seattle, it came that far. I mean, it was like, I've never seen anything like that. Never seen anything like that. But yes, Michael Vick is a short second. Yes. Rafi Federico, 2 British pounds. Rafi is a good Chad Italian name. Okay, yeah, Rafi will be he'll be the Italian Chad. What do you guys think of Escobar? Well, Escobar's a last name, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Never mind. Pablo Escobar was his last name. Never mind. Nonstop Dre, $2. BLM got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Email to you too. Yeah, I saw that. I posted it on my blog. Rafi Federico, how does it feel to be a genetic dead end? It feels fine. Because I don't care. Like, once you understand blood is not thicker than water, you see there's more important things than just passing on your genetic lineage. And I have made it very well known that for 1.5 million after tax and a huge legal waiver, women can have my seed per child, per woman. If there's nothing stopping, girls want a high IQ guy with the ability to ballroom dance and handle his booze. And can have, I don't know, what are my other traits and qualities? I guess I got endurance. I don't mean sexually, though. I guess that too. But I can drive long distances. I can hike and climb. I got great cardio. Drawbacks, I'm short and I got high cholesterol. I don't know. What? I'm funny. I'm high IQ. I type fast. I'm better than 90% of the guys out there. But, at any point, you don't even have to deal with me. Here, give me 1.5 million. There's my seed. Go away. But no, it feels fine to be a genetic dead end because I don't believe that a man's value or a woman's value is whether they bred or not. Idiots do that. Humans have been breeding. The only thing humans do more than breeding is pooping and breathing. That's it. Breeding means nothing. But yeah, it's going to be, here's some books. I told you guys, look at this fun time I had here. Because frankly, I think when I die, there won't be a post-life. There won't be consciousness. It'll end. So I won't be around to cheer on my team. Go Team Cappy's DNA. Can you imagine if I got paid 1.5 million? How many around the world? Crazy woman pays weirdo internet guy 1.5 million for seed. Crazy internet guy says, well, I guess I'm getting a really nice septic tank. Fred Freeman Sowell, $2. I lost 35 pounds in 6 months in 2019. Eat well. Yeah, men, just for whatever men are tuning in, I know this is intended for the women. Men should usually just stay in shape for the sake of staying in shape and healthy. And I think a lot of your life can be enjoyed being outdoors. I think that's really where life is. I don't really like staying indoors that much. Benevolence, $5. Aaron, ever notice how weight loss commercials tell men to man up, but they're all nice and respectful to women? By the way, I like cheeseburgers. Yeah, there was somebody posted like the latest covers of Men's Health, and it's two shirtless, ripped guys, and then the two latest pictures of the Cosmopolitan magazine, and it's fat women. And it says healthy at this size. You girls want to believe that? Go ahead. Look, I understand your fear of the gym is more powerful than your desire to have a man. I get it. Just stop torturing yourself. You can't have it both ways. If you want to be fat, go eat and enjoy it. Enjoy the pink box donuts. Enjoy all the food and have it guilt-free. But stop torturing yourself thinking you're healthy and beautiful and you're going to get a guy. Although I think the women that tune in here know that. They don't. We caught up. Fred Freeman Saul for $5 again. My dad's dad died when my dad was 9. But the biggest disappointment in his life is that my mom, your mom, his wife, got tubby after marriage. But Chad, it's so hard for girls to keep off weight. It is his biggest disappointment. I'll say it again. If your partner, it doesn't matter if it's your husband or your wife, if they get physically unattractive on you, they cut their hair, they get tatted up, they get fat. That's usually you have every right to leave. Every right. Because love, it presupposes physical attraction. I don't know how many times I got to say this. There's nothing wrong with not being physically attracted to someone that you like. It's called friends. But going to date and fall in love and then presumably get married down the road, if you get fat, that is betrayal. I would say that's betrayal on par with having an affair. You owe it to your spouse to stay in physical shape, male or female. But Aaron, it's hard. It's all right. Just don't look for people then. Fred Freeman saw $2. My 73-year-old uncle met his 49-year-old girlfriend at a gym game. Yep, there. Well, hang on, Fred. Let's talk about this though. Your 73-year-old uncle has old man game where you can get away with that. Yeah, I'm an old man. What do? Fire me? I'm retired. Like old men can get away with anything. Jim, you got to think long term. Do you want to defecate where you eat? Do you want to ruin the gym so you can't go there anymore because asked out too many girls or whatever? Chris Paulson for $5, 10 points for the Al Bundy reference. Thank you. You're old enough to remember that reference, right? No pig. Rafi Federico, 2 British pounds. Sir, you should have moved abroad and had a family. With what money, Rafi? And with exactly what guidance? What older brother did I have? There was me. There was, okay. And then all my family pretty much poor. like you're not going to follow their advice. It wasn't, I had to teach myself. That's the worst thing ever. When you got to teach and raise yourself. Oh, it's horrible. So I didn't have the money. Dude, I remember I was 23 and I thought I made it big because I flew to Seattle once. Wow, I'm on a plane. Whoa. Fred Freeman saw $5. Can you do your millennial husband store imitation? Femillennial husband store. I sent you dating profile of a super fat PhD student. Would she break your motorcycle if rode? The one that you sent me? Yeah, I think I don't know if she'd break it, but we'd have a hard time going up hills and mountains. The femillennial husband store. You mean where the girl graduates and then gets her master's and then she has to work 5.7 years, and at 32 and a half, I'll go to the husband store and find myself a husband. And then 6 months later, I'll get impregnated and then I'll have 2.1 children. That? Or effeminate husband millennial men. You want to see my millennial husband interpretation? It's what do you mean divorce papers? There you go. Hey, here every Tuesday. Good night, everybody. It gets tiring. I feel bad. I do. I think it's small. It's a small market, but I think there's a market there And it's growing that women, not all of them, certainly the minority, but like our client, who they're gonna realize that tickety talk, and they're not finding the man, and and they might get crazy enough. They might get so desperate, Fred, they'd ask men. They'd get the opinion of men. That's why we charge for it. Lots of money, playa. Welcome to the goodie room. Juan, the Aztec patriarch, $2. After 3 kids, I'm due for a vasectomy ASAP. Yeah, what are you waiting around for, Juan? Are you planning on one? Fred Freeman, solid $2. Uncle's also 6'1". That height helps. Yeah, it does. It does. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying or they don't know. But being taller does definitely help. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. Oh, it's scam likely. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.